Today I've got another interesting guitar experiment. What happens if you use only basses for your track? Or what about only guitars? Now in this case, I've got basses and baritone guitars, and they're all tuned to the same thing. They're all in the same octave. So what is really the difference, besides the notes, between a baritone guitar with a 30-inch scale length and an actual proper bass guitar? The bass guitar has much thicker strings and a longer scale length, so it has a lot more tension. It obviously has a different tone, but I wanted to isolate just the difference between the instruments in this case. So I've got a bunch of riffs here. I've got a normal setup, which is stereo left and right guitars that are hard panned with a mono bass guitar in the center. It's just your standard metal mix. And then I've got a version that's all basses, so a bass on either side and a bass down the middle. One that's all baritone guitars, so the baritone guitar is playing the bass part. And then one that's inverted, so baritone guitar playing the bass part and then bass guitars on the stereo sides. So we've got all possible permutations of this idea, and we can see how they sound. Now I've used the same amps for the guitars, the guitar tracks, whether they're the baritone guitars or the basses, as well as the same bass amp, whether it's the guitar or the bass. So really the only variable here is the instrument. If we take a look at the project, this is what it looks like. I've got drums down here, and then here's my normal version. So we've got left and right guitars and a bass, and then here's all basses, all guitars, and then inverted. And I've kept that same pattern throughout all of these. So we're just going to take a listen to these riffs and hear how they change with these different instruments going in the front end. I don't think there's anything else about the mix I really need to tell you. It's pretty simple, and yeah, it's the same amps in either case, whether it's the basses pretending to be guitars or the guitars pretending to be basses. Each roll has its own amp, and you can see they're the same. So let's check it out. It's no surprise to me that the normal version sounds the best, though second best, I think, is the all basses version. I've actually done a few songs where I've done all basses, especially if I didn't have a guitar low enough for a super low tuning. Just use a 5-string bass instead. And I like the sound of all basses. It's kind of extra grindy and clanky. The guitar as the bass, even though it's a 30-inch scale baritone guitar tuned an octave lower, it's just kind of flubby and flat sounding to me. Not my favorite. I think in a pinch you could use a guitar as a bass, but you might have to do some tweaking with the amp to kind of make it sound a little more brutal. In this case, it sounds pretty flat and not so great compared to an actual bass. And then the inverted version is kind of, as you might expect, the worst of both worlds. But there's more. So let's listen to some different riffs. So there you have my little experiment. What is the lesson from this? Well, I suppose it's as we already knew. The best thing is guitars with a bass in the normal fashion that we've been doing. But I think all basses sounds quite good too. And for certain things, certain kinds of riffs, certain styles of music, it can maybe even sound better than a guitar. If you want that extra clanky, extra jangly bass sound, give it a try. It sounds cool. I'll go ahead and publish these stems, both the DI and the amp tracks. Just if you want to play around with them, take a further listen to them, scrutinize them, you can go ahead and do that. I don't think there's anything, groundbreaking here at all. Kind of reconfirms what we already knew, but it does confirm that that is maybe the best way to do things. Maybe you have a different opinion than me. Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching the video. Smash like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.